Jimmy Fallon is apologizing for being too nice to Donald Trump. Here, as we approach almost 7 months since the presidential election, the liberals continue to point blame at the Russians, sexism, and apparently at Jimmy Fallon. About a month and a half before the election, in the middle of September, Fallon had then candidate Trump on his show, and he received massive backlash for being too friendly with the candidate. Yes, the liberals were and still are upset that a comedian had fun with his guest instead of hitting him with the hard questions. And the New York Times just did this lengthy interview with him titled Jimmy Fallon was on top of the world. And then came Trump, talking about how that interview was the downfall of his career because he humanized Donald Trump. If I let anybody down, it hurt my feelings that they didn't like it. I got it. The liberals were and continued to be extremely upset that at one moment Fallon played with Donald Trump's hair, which they said humanized him. Fallon said, I almost did it to minimize him. I didn't think that would be a compliment. He's not the only comedian who's sorry about how he handled Donald Trump. Dave Chappelle also is apologizing for telling people to give Trump a chance. You may recall that just after the election, Dave Chappelle was hosting Saturday Night Live when he wished the president luck and said that he's going to give him a chance. But now he's had a change of tune. He did a little comedy bit last week at the Robin Hood Gala, which is a charity in New York, where he told the audience, quote, I was the first guy on TV to say, give Trump a chance. I f***ed up. Sorry. This is a real article from CNN, the Certainly Not News network, that says Letterman doesn't regret hosting Trump on set. Well, how dare he not regret actually having the guy on his show? Longtime television star David Letterman, now in retirement, has no regrets about playing host to then businessman and reality TV boss Donald Trump time and time again over the years. How pathetic is the liberal media when they're pressuring comedians to not just be funny, not just crack jokes about the president, but to be vicious and use their platforms to attack him instead of just poke fun at him. NBC executives have reportedly been pressuring Fallon to take the gloves off and stop being so nice to the president. Sources say that Fallon is feeling the pressure. Stephen Colbert is now beating him in a big way, and he has to change his format to keep up because he's losing viewers. They had to figure out a way to get Trump into his routine because he's too weak on Trump, and the viewers are going elsewhere. Going elsewhere meaning going over to CBS to watch Stephen Colbert, whose career was on life support until President Trump was elected, and then he turned his monologues into editorials, and instead of just cracking jokes, it's nothing but just vicious attacks against the president. Meanwhile, a new study from Harvard University shows that during the first 100 days of President Trump's administration, CNN's coverage was 93% negative. This isn't some conservative college. This is Harvard University. The Harvard team found that CBS's coverage was 91% negative and 9% positive. The New York Times coverage was 87% negative, 13% positive. The Washington Post coverage was 83% negative, 17% positive. The Wall Street Journal's coverage was 70% negative, 30% positive. And Fox News' coverage was 52% negative and 48% positive. Hence, almost 50-50. Hence, their trademarked slogan, fair and balanced. The Harvard researchers found CNN's Trump coverage was 93% negative, 7% positive. Of course, it's not just the news media, it's the late night comedians as well, as poor Jimmy Fallon is being blamed by the liberal lunatics for being partially responsible for President Trump winning the election. I'm Mark Dice, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new and check back here every day for new reports, and we will continue to monitor these absolute morons as they continue to spiral out of control.